the bar, I'm too persistent. With income and no cash. Get it on my own, no collab. But a bar with me, that's a body bag. Yo, people, we telling them, see where my line Jazz back again with another reaction. Right now, we got Pete and Buzz. Bermondsey. That sounds right. I could be wrong though. Anyway, produced by 91 Shots. Shout out to 91 Shots, fam. You know what I'm saying? I've had a couple of producers pass by the channel and that fam say, yo, this was produced by me, but you know what I'm saying? And the beats that, you know what I mean, that were dirty, fam. For example, the Millions thing, fam. Millions and SL, fam. That tune, bro, the producer passed by, fam. He's like, yo, this is produced by me and someone else, blah, blah. I was like, yo, you man did your thing on that, fam, because that beat was farting differently. Now, obviously, these man have a project incoming. They did two previews. I don't know if it's out, because all I know is that there's a thing coming, bro. You know what I'm saying? I don't know when it's coming out or anything like that. Oh, so it's out then. Boom. Quick little mixtape, calm. The thing's out, fam. Right now we got Pete and Buzz, Bermondsey. I think I'm gonna react to that. I'm gonna make a video out of that still. I'm gonna react to that because you know Pete and Buzz, those are my guys, fam. People telling me, yo, did you react to the Pete and Buzz plugged in and that? Fam, I've been onto these guys, man. I've been watching them even before the YouTube thing, bro. And you know what I mean? They're one of my favorites on the channel and that, fam. I told you, if this thing slaps, it just might have to go into my top 10, bro. That's all I'm saying. If this thing's another banger, they just might have to slot into my top 10, bro. People are starting to realize that these man ain't a parody, fam. The music is too good for it to be a parody, man. Let's get into it, fam. Wait, was that Norman, bro? Man like Norms. I think that's Norms, man. Big man, what's on your head top though, bro? Clean that off, fam. You know what I'm saying? Well, what do you need? Some Mr. Sheen or something? Look at, yo, what you...
and flipped it. I work like a bleeding dog. Same old trusty biscuit. The hammer don't lock.
Should I just leave now? Should I just leave now? Are you mad? I mean, people that try to say these men are always on the same vibe, fam. Go listen to Speeding and that, fam. You know what I'm saying?
Took a bag of the dust and flipped it. I work like a bleeding dog. Same old trusty biscuit. The hammer don't lock. Points up and down that postcode. Offside where the lads don't go. We throw fists like AJ. Sent it back to the Ladbroke Coast. I got deals. Just let me know what you need. I'll be down in the local post.
I don't care, bro. We in the whole thing, bro.
And flipped it. I work like a bleeding dog. Same old trusty biscuit. The hammer don't lock. Points up and down that postcode. Offside where the lads don't go. We throw fists like AJ. Sent it back to the Ladbroke Coast. I got deals. Just let me know what you need. I'll be down in the local boozer. Minimum score a delivery fee. Charlie Chaplin, his head got bashed with a walking stick. Silent movie. Don't talk or I snatch your lips.
Snatch your lips here.
Drive a man in the back to a car. If a man try run, then he won't get far.
Let's be honest, Buzz. You ain't ducking anyone down, though. Let's be honest, fam. You know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta send the YGs for that one. Hey, yo, you know what I'm saying, fam? You're hopping the hoop, bro, but you ain't ducking anyone down, bro. You know what I'm
Moving
saying?
the pack like cheers, my tar. You don't wanna come round here and get mashed. Run a man down in my sandals. I'm too hot to handle.
Run a man down in my sandals, bro. That's like... Hey, retirement settings, bro. That's how you know these men are chilling, baking off in the sun these days, bro. Man said, chase a man down in my sandals, you know, bro. Who says that?
Moving the pack like cheers, my tar. You don't wanna come round here, get mashed. Run a man down in my sandals. I'm too hot to handle. You don't wanna take this gamble. Left with a name on a bench and a candle. Off a noodle. Got boys ringing for the bugle. Ringing on my phone like Jesus Christ, cause I got the kit and caboodle. You need practice, stop me bollocks, you ain't on crack. I'll do your day, leave your face in the country mud. Little mug, heavyweight champ, swing fist but I don't use gloves. Anywhere public, lost count so many fights on the London bus. I've had fights on the London tube, pushed him into the closing door. Then I kung fu kicked his noodle, spark out on the platform floor. I've had fights in the London pub, not to judge.
I can't lie, yeah. Pete's going W in this one. Hey, shout out Pete. Pete's doing his thing on this one. Pete's doing his thing on this one, bro.
Ain't on crack, I'll do your day, leave your face in the country mud. Little mug, heavyweight champ, swing fist but I don't use gloves. Anywhere public, lost count so many fights on the London bus. I've had fights on the London tube, pushed him into the closing door. Then I kung fu kicked his noodle, spark out on the platform floor. I've had fights in the London pub, knocked to judge out in the central court. I had a rock.
Yeah, that's exactly what my face is. That's exactly what my face is, bro. Did you see what man said? He punched the judge. Okay then, fam.
Platform floor. I've had fights in the London pub, knocked to judge out in the central court. I had a rock in the restaurant Thursday, chefed him up with a kitchen fork. I've been working, moving, focus. I've been drinking, never sober. Pistol, tuck it, shoot it, yeah. Ladies, love it, money's coming. I've been about way too long, mate, sit back down and shut your mouth. I walk outside with a big black suit and a pistol full 4 rounds. Fag in me hand in between the fingers as I drink and I can't get stand. If you want a man knocked in the noggin, best come jogging with a bag of sand.
Old school setting.
Noggin, best come jogging with a bag of sand.
One thing I gotta say though, I do like that Baz didn't do his trademark Baz flow, bro. I'm glad he didn't, bro. You know what I'm saying? I'm glad he just came on a different vibe this time. You know what I'm saying?
Obvious by now, don't know what's wrong with ya. Yeah, that's for them lot. Well, we still ain't heard back from them, have we?
And the thing is, we already knew, the people that were already over here from there already knew that these men were cold, bro. But the plugged in solidified that stamp, you know what I'm saying? So now people are starting to realize, bro, we're just going to bring more eyes to their thing. Oh, bad thing. I need to watch that, you know. Yeah, how long is this, you know? How long is this? 7 minutes. Yo, F it, fam. I'm reacting to this, bro.
Okay!
I'm doing another 2-in-1, bro. I'm doing another 2-in-1, fam. It's before they were famous, fam. You know what I'm saying? I'm actually intrigued. I'm intrigued.
So, I've got no idea what's going on here, but I think I quite like it.
Before Pete and Bass would emerge as two of the hottest grime rappers out of the UK at the ripe old age of more than 70 years old. Before Pete and Bass would release songs like The Old Estate, Window Frame Cypher, and Speeding. Before Pete and Bass would have 5,000 followers on Twitter, over 209,000 followers on Instagram at the time of this recording.
How have you guys viewed age throughout life?
We've done a lot of interviews and this comes up a lot, but we don't see it.
Look, all of us are bound to grow older. It's completely inevitable. Unless something even more tragic happens to us in the meantime and we pass away before we ever get the chance. But just because we're growing older doesn't mean we have to give up on living out our dreams, even in the twilight of our lives. Take for instance the massive success of grime rappers Pete and Bass, both of whom are pushing the 7-decade mark.
Just for clarification, how old are you?
I'm just over 70.
I'm approaching 70 as well, from the wrong direction.
These two granddads have already managed to notch up millions upon millions.
Whoa. These two granddads, put some respect on the name, fam. You know what I'm saying? You definitely don't want to visit from Pete and Baz, that's for sure, fam. You know what I'm saying? Come on now, fam. Just Baz's voice in general, fam, that would just, you know what I'm saying? That would just put a stop to your heart completely, fam. And we all know Pete is the one with the grease. He's the one on smoke. He's the one that's gonna do all the interrogating, fam. You know what I'm saying? Maybe a couple of mad, you know what I'm saying, old and western at times type. Hey, you don't want it, fam. You don't want it.
Millions of views on YouTube, with their biggest hit song seeing these two lovable enigmas spitting witty lyrics over some authentically raw beats. Over a relatively short span of time, Pete and Bass have proven to be a revelation to the music industry, but they're also extremely secretive about their past. Throughout the course of their careers, they've suggested various backstories to how they came to work together, as well as dropped hints about their former less than straight and narrow early lives. So we've reached out to them for some insider details to help put together as much of their remarkable story as possible.
You guys have so many stories, so many things that you guys can tell that it would be hard. one would think it's an old man sport.
Yeah, did you see him shoot that helicopter down? He was cool.
Hey, what's poppin', guys? It's your boy Marlon Palmer back at it again with a brand new video. This one taking a look at the come up of grime duo Pete and Bass. Here for you on Before They're Famous. These two are fantastic storytellers, so much so that it's nearly impossible to tell when they're being truthful. That being said, much of their past is shrouded in darkness, so we reached out to them to get some never before heard facts about their childhood that we can't wait to share with you guys. Is everything that they told us true? Who knows? But sure as hell is exciting. Be sure to follow me on Instagram at ThatDudeMcFly to let me know what you think. And let's get into the story.
Oh, PewDiePie. I was like, who the hell is this? Because it only looks like the kid photo, innit?
Alright, let's start by getting a few of the most basic facts about these two out of the way first. After all, most people seem to be confused about who is who when it comes to this duo, so let's clear that up right now.
I'm Bass.
That is true. Not gonna lie, fam. I only realized on the Fumes, the engineer interview, the studio with Fumes. That's when I realized who was who.
And you're Pete?
Yeah, I'm Pete, yeah.
Oh, you figured it
Nice
out.
to
well,
meet
didn't you? Not just pretty faces.
Clearly.
Oh, clearly not.
Bass was born Basil Belgrave on December 26, 1949 to his parents Barnaby and Olivia, while Pete was born Peter Bowditch on November 25, 1950 to parents Jonathan and Trina. Both of these gentlemen hail from South London, with Pete having gone on record saying that he was born in the district of Peckham.
They done a tattoo on my leg, and I'm not to drop in my trousers, of where I come from, and it's Peckham Rye.
Both men had close relationships with their fathers. Barnaby was a printer at a local newspaper called the Clitheroe Advertiser, and he taught Bass from a young age how to box while running a back garden bare-knuckle boxing ring when his son was only a teenager. Of course, once the police found out about this, they shut it down right quick. R.I.P. Kimbo Slice, talking about backyard fights, that's my dog. Meanwhile, Pete's dad, Jonathan, was a platform porter for the Southeastern Railway, and he introduced his son to the Richardson family, one of the most notorious crime families to ever come out of the London area, who would teach Pete the arts of racketeering, roller skating, and how to get girls.
Well, the Richards are very powerful.
How to get girls, racketeering, combo, roller skating. Why is that just a random fact, fam? Is that how you man used to do it back in the day? Just rolling around in rollerblades and that to dip a man down? Hey, each to their own, fam.
Because the Richards, if they had anything, they had money. And money in itself is power.
All of this extracurricular activity that Pete was up to would facilitate him dropping out of school before he was a teenager. Meanwhile, Bass went on to attend Croydon High School, but at the age of 16, he got into a dispute with one of his teachers, knocked him out with his bare knuckles, and never came back. Whether or not this peek behind the curtain of their lives is true or simply creative invention on their part is hard to know. Both men are always hesitant to get into the details whenever their pasts are brought up. Both men are always hesitant to get into the details whenever their past.
I think he said hesitant to get into the details, calm. But the way he said it, it's like his whole nose was just blocked up differently.
Mention on their part is hard to know. Both men are always hesitant to get into the details whenever their pasts are brought up.
Were you involved in street life in those days?
Well, of course we were involved in street life, sort of.
This might make it difficult to gauge their honesty, but one thing's for sure, these two, especially Bass, like to appear as if they're always up to something less than reputable.
Baz is quite mysterious, isn't he?
Yeah, it's Baz, I'm afraid. He's a very quiet man.
What are you up to? Like, every time you get out of the car, like, what are you actually up to?
It's a bit of this and that. Let's talk about the music.
There's even rumor going around that Bass used to sell drugs while working as a bouncer for a prominent London nightclub back in the 70s, making more money than you could possibly imagine while being protected at all times by the club owners who would never let him get into any trouble with the local law. Then as they entered their adult life, Pete took up a position as a local postman, worked on a couple local advertisements, and sold stolen cars on the side.
And Rob from a corner shop.
Bass, on the other hand, held down a job as a lawyer before serving time in the army and eventually becoming a piano.
I never thought of that, bro. Hey, they'll go using that as well, fam. You know what I'm saying? Yo, no one's chatting to Google. Why is Google getting activated, bro? No one's chatting to you, big gal, bro.
Teacher who just so happens to have skills with the trumpet as well.
This is a musician.
Okay.
I can't even play a triangle.
Well, I play all sorts of things. I played it full.
I was about to say he plays piano. I want to learn how to play the piano, bro. By the time I'm 30, fam.
I play.
She's amazed by them, by the way. She's, yeah. Yeah, she's starstruck, fam.
Piano, trumpet, anything with valves in it.
So where did these two first meet? Well, it actually took them a long time to do so, despite both men growing up in relatively close proximity to one another. The legend goes that only a handful of years ago, Pete was working as a trading standards officer when he visited a shop in Greenwich High Road and stumbled upon Bass teaching piano in that same building. Ever since, these two have been the closest of friends. Oh, look at that, they met with music. They met with music. It's like a sign. Alright, now let's get into the most important stuff, their music. Pete was the first to become inspired at trying his hand at grime as a direct result of one of his 6 grandchildren, his granddaughter Lily, who introduced her grandpa to rap when she was only 13, and he was in his late 60s.
Right, you've got to sort of blame my granddaughter.
Okay.
Thank you, granddaughter.
Yeah,
No, we say thank you. We gotta say thank you, Joe.
After being forced to listen endlessly to hip hop and rap, Pete found himself surprised by how much he began to enjoy it. Inspired by this late life discovery, Pete reached out to his good friend and musical savant, Bass, to convince him to team up and start making some grime tracks of their own.
It makes sense, it makes sense, it makes sense.
After encouraging Bass to listen to hip hop and R&B legends, Pete eventually wore his friend down, who that
was an awful shot, bro.
Encouraging Bass to listen to hip hop and R&B legends, Pete eventually wore his friend.
He's at the point. Surely he should like mastered that, fam. You know what I'm saying? Like almost like 7 decades on the planet, bro. Surely, fam. Surely you should have like mastered the craft of that, fam.
Down, who despite the tough front he often puts up, was secretly eager to get back into the game. After all, Bass once told Model magazine, "Make sure you don't die with the music still in you." Many people do, unfortunately. People are either dead or alive, know what I mean? In my case, I'm gonna make bloody sure they know the difference. These guys always have bars, just always with the bars. Motivated to succeed, Pete and Bass began to write the lyrics to some original songs, leaning on their grandchildren when they needed to update slang words appropriately across a pretty wide generational divide.
I had never seen people your age so well versed, with such a great grasp of the slang and the vernacular, while also infusing your own slang and vernacular. I love that. Why did you guys choose to do that?
Well, that's our sort of mantra, if you like. We want to get ourselves in it and make the kids or the children or our friends or our people who are watching us understand us as well, because it's a different language at times.
Yeah.
Their grandkids also help them along with beats and production, with Pete telling Culture Hub, they give us the beat and we provide the words.
I read that, bro. I read that. Shout out to the grandkids, man. Shout out to the grandkids, bro. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the grandkids. Seems like they had a big part in this.
Late 2018, these two met an individual named Lordy who helped put them on the map and shared their skills with the world by releasing their very first song, Shut Your Mouth, on the YouTube channel Grime Report TV. Also 5 Pound Munch. The 5 Pound Munch episode was lit too. This smash hit paved the way
I haven't seen the 5 Pound episode thing. I might watch that. I might react to that.
For their very first professional gig, which took place that same year in front of, well, only about 10 people at the Graduate in Greenwich. But don't worry, these two have blown up huge and their later performances have been in pretty rowdy crowds in places like Camden Roundhouse, Manchester, Birmingham, Bristol, and a whole lot more cities. They've also continued to release songs on the GRM Daily YouTube channel that have kept them in the spotlight with tracks like Dents in a Poujette and Quick Little Freestyle, which quickly secured more than 1 million tracks like Dents in a Poujette on the GRM Daily YouTube channel that have kept them in the spotlight with tracks like Dents in a Poujette and
Back then I had dents in a Peugeot. Back then I had dents in a Peugeot.
On the GRM Daily YouTube channel that have kept them in the spotlight with tracks like Dents in a Poujette and Quick Little Freestyle, which quickly secured more than 1 million plays on both Spotify and YouTube.
Did you have
quick and it's done? I can't even do it, bro. When Buzz came in, bro, man said quick and it's done, and then he did the. You know what I'm saying, bro? Shout out Buzz, man. He's too cold, bro.
any future projects or anything coming up?
We got
Domination of the world.
We got the
Mixer coming up next week, isn't it?
Yeah.
How did he get the Peugeot thing wrong, fam? When they said it in the song, it was in the hook, and you still got it wrong, fam.
Yeah, in this case, it's Saint Day.
Yeah.
It's
Mixtape coming
on
out
the 23rd of this month.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Mixtape.
Nice. But do we have a title? Is there a
That's
mixtape
what it's
name?
called. It's just called Quick Little Mixtape.
More recently, they had been slated to continue taking over the world with their lads on tour into the fall of 2020, but with the coronavirus spreading like wildfire and these two firmly being in the high danger zone in terms of what would happen if they were to catch it, they postponed all performances until October of 2021.
COVID for you lot, has it had a crazy effect? Like, are you lot still out and about? Obviously, following restrictions.
Well, unfortunately, I've lost a few friends to it.
As for the rest of their story and where their most recent hit songs like Old Estate and Golf might take them, well, that's a story for another time and another place. After all, this is before they're famous. What do you guys think of the secret lives of Pete and Bass? Are you surprised they value their privacy so highly? How much of what they told us do you believe is true? Let me know in the comments down below. Don't forget to follow our series on Instagram at Before They're Famous to vote on who's next. And I'll catch you guys in the next video. Bye.
Bro, I'm used to the overdone in being on that, bro. I don't know how I feel about him, bro. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Something about him don't seem right. It's something about him we don't know, you know what I'm saying? But I hope you man enjoyed that one either way, but that was just a little two in one, unexpected, you know what I mean? But I'll catch you in the next one though. This is by man land just out of Pete and Buzz as always, and I'll probably react to the album and thing, fam. You know what I'm saying? That's just a video. I probably won't do it live. But in a bit, fam, you know what I'm saying?
Bar after bar after bar after bar after bar, I'm too persistent. Put in comment, no cast. Get it on my own, no collab. But if a bar with me, that's a body bag. Your mans want smoke, then he leaves with a toe tag. Whole squad hit with a double mag Glock. Got left in the street and the body's getting chucked. Bullets with names and your shit's getting popped. That be with me and that bag's getting cocked. Still gotta chase the bag, humble. Ain't gotta brag in a league on my own and my stats getting flagged. Hit me for the feet, got verses in stats. Come through like the queen, gotta pay that tax. Premium sir.